would be most appreciated. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Monica Lesnick. I'm the interim CEO of the Homeless Leadership Alliance of Pinellas. I want to thank you all for joining us on this call today so we can all be receiving the same message of what's going on with Hurricane Ian off the coast and deeply south. To give everybody an update on what we're doing at the HLA, we have our rapid resolution specialist out on the streets right now, providing information, pamphlets, and information to our community to ensure people know where they can and are able to go, including information on housing or public transportation being free right now. We'll continue doing that for the rest of the day today. We also have our team actively updating our social media as well as our website and working with our partners, including those within the CEU's flow, to make sure we have everything going as it should be. As always, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to email me or text me. I think everybody has my contact information. And at this point in time, I will turn it over to Jessica. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to try to share my screen with you guys real quick. Can everybody see that? Perfect. So this is the latest forecast map. You know, we're going to see this change as we start to get closer and closer, like we've been watching since like forever now. I want to talk about this, but I want to focus more on what we're looking at as far as potential hazards as we move forward. So currently we're at hurricane status. Hurricane Ian is 80 miles per hour. Now's the time that we're going to see that rapid intensification that I've been talking about all week. So as that sucker moves right over Cuba, it's going to turn into a major hurricane. So I don't want to be an alarmist, but I do want to be a realist when I talk about the severity of the situation for our area. You know, regardless of exactly where landfall is, we're on the worst side of the storm and sort of the worst positioning for our area. And so we are certain we're going to see some major impacts coming from this system. Right now, the forecast is looking at 10 to 15 inches of rainfall. That's a lot of rain that's going to fall on saturated ground. The chance for tornadoes is going to increase as the winds start coming through. This system is either going to be a major category 3 or category 4. So that's a pretty serious situation that we're looking at. I guess the biggest concern that I really want to make sure that I'm clear about is the storm surge prediction. So at this time, we're here at the Emergency Operations Center preparing for the potential of storm surge anywhere between 10 and 15 feet. So I had some questions from some other groups I was talking to about what exactly does that mean. So when the water comes in, that means 10 to 15 feet high of water. So we're fairly confident that we're going to see homes underwater. That's potential for homes to be moved off of foundations. We are really anticipating some major damage once this system has moved through our area. And so I just want people to be very aware that when they issue the evacuation orders, which have not been issued yet, but they're coming very soon, that if you are in one of the evacuation zones that they name, it's really imperative that you take it seriously, you evacuate to somewhere that you need to, because even more so than the winds, and those are going to be incredibly high winds also, is the concern for the water that's coming in, both that ground flooding from the amount of rain and the storm surge that's coming pushed off from the ocean waters. So also at this time, and this is shifting a little bit, but this is also one of those really alarming things to consider, is the impacts of tropical storm force winds could begin around Wednesday at 3 a.m. So of course that nighttime, which is obviously not the ideal time for folks, especially for our homeless. Those conditions, the duration of those will last through 8 p.m. Thursday. So if you do the math, that's around 40 hours. That's an incredibly long time for that system to sit over us and push that water on us, push the water up through the storm surge and those incredibly high winds. So this is a very serious situation. If you've seen any of the press conferences, know that, I think you can see the concern with the alerts and the messaging that's going out. today's the day to kind of get those things squared away and make those decisions about what you do. I mentioned the evacuations were not yet, but they will be coming soon. So I would just heed everyone to pay really close attention to the emergency management partners and the media who will start pushing that out. Let's see. The other big concern, and we know we're going to be looking at this, is widespread power outages for a extended duration of time. So again, not, even just that 40 hours of lockdown period, it's going to take a long time to get our power restored and back up, because they can't even begin that until damage has been assessed. So prepare for long-term widespread power outages, prepare for the potential of communications being down for an extended period of time as well. And then just the other piece that I want to make sure we note, even though that 40 hours period is the period we anticipate impacts, that doesn't mean that, 8 p.m. Thursday, things are going to be great. There's going to be some significant widespread damage. They're going to have to get damage assessment crews out there. It's not going to be safe. Trees are going to be down. Homes are going to be destroyed. Power lines are going to be around. All sorts of different hazards. And so it's also going to take some time, especially because 8 p.m. is the start of the evening, for crews to get out there and assess how safe it is. And so really, as far as timing, it's almost the worst case scenario for our planning and our response. Shelters will start to open today at 6. So 3 community shelters will be opening today starting at 6. Those are Ross Norton Community Center, the Lealman Exchange, and Largo is the additional one added to that list. We don't anticipate we're going to see a big influx of folks tonight. I think we'll really start to see that tomorrow will be kind of the biggest day for that movement. Starting tomorrow, all of the emergency evacuation shelters will be open beginning at 7 a.m. So folks can go to any of those. Again, PSTA will be offering those free ride services to any of those shelters if folks need assistance with that. Just looking through my notes. Does anybody have any questions that I could possibly answer? Oh, let me look at the chat. Give me just a second. So the 3 community shelters for this evening are the Lealman Exchange, Ross Norton, and then Largo High School. That will be starting at 6 tonight, and then all shelters will be open starting at 7 a.m. tomorrow, Tuesday. I think tomorrow's Tuesday. And again, the best way to get the most updated information, including when they start to issue the evacuations, is by that Ready Pinellas app, because you can literally just pull it up and it'll show your location if you're in an evacuation zone or not, or you can just punch in your address or any address and see what evacuation level they're at as well. I think Commissioner Flowers, I think I saw your hand up first.
Good afternoon, thanks. I'm not sure if
Yes, you might be muted.
I'm unmuted. You can't hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry, we got it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if I heard incorrectly, but I just wanted to share, we have already started the evacuation process. So we have asked that those individuals who can, they start to evacuate now, whether it's going farther north, whether it's moving out of zones A through C into someone who may be in a non-flood zone, but those are not mandatory. Those are prep evacuations. Sheriff Gualtieri made it very clear that once mandatory evacuation status has been issued, that no first responders will be coming for anyone if you do not evacuate during the mandatory evacuation time and you find yourself stranded. So I just wanted to just kind of tweak that to say evacuation started as of the announcement with the press conference this morning at 10 o'clock. And some people are already starting to take us up on it. Some of my neighbors, even though I'm not in a flood zone, some of my neighbors have already started to go further north, who are some of my seniors. So I just wanted to let you know that evacuation did start. The request for evacuation started at 10 o'clock as a result of the press conference.
Great, yeah, and I know that they were recommending those, the official, like you mentioned, mandatory have not yet, but those will be coming, forthcoming shortly. There are a couple more trigger points for that. So yeah, now is definitely the time to start making those plans and know that if you're especially in an A, B, or C, that you're gonna need to make some evacuation decisions. And I just wanna make sure that I mention it again. The winds are gonna be a concern because it's gonna be a major system. The waters are also gonna be our biggest concern. So I know, I've heard some folks say, well, we've got, a new roof, or we've got secure windows, or our shutters are up. That's fantastic. And everyone needs to take those precautions. But you also need to be really aware of how close you are in your storm surge zone to ensure that, you're not stuck if those waters come, because just like Commissioner said, once they pull emergency response off the road, they cannot operate under those wind conditions. And so it's really a tough situation to get those calls and not be able to respond. Victoria?
Thanks. I just wanted to let everybody know, I have put in the chat, and it's available on our website, the flyer, the Prepare for Hurricane Evacuation flyer that Pinellas County has released. I will put the link to HLA's website there again. I have also put the link for shelter lists in the chat. I just want to make sure that everybody has that information handy, and I'll share it a couple more times throughout this.
Great. And I think, Monica, you have your hand up too.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Jessica. I just wanted to let everybody know that the HLA will continue to send out emails throughout the duration of this hurricane, and I've put my cell phone in the box in the chat. So if for some reason you are trying to reach somebody within our team, maybe communications may be down, please feel free to text or reach out to me. And we will continue to update all of our social channels with information and guidance from the county as well. So we'll be doing what we can to get the messages out even more.
Any other questions for me?
Yeah, this is Joe Pandolfino. I'm with Pinellas Hope, and I didn't see my hand up icon, so I just jumped in. But yeah, at Pinellas Hope, we potentially have 300 people that we're going to have to evacuate. And I believe Largo High School will be our shelter that these people will be going to. So my question is there someone at Largo High that I can communicate with? I don't want to just drop off 300 people and say, there you go. I want to try to work with them as best I can and provide as much support as we can for them. So I see that it's open now at 6 p.m. So we'll probably start to be evacuating some people this evening then.
Sure. So I think that was one of the things on our list to coordinate, is to go through that roll call for all of our partners on the phone and find out your status. So if we're ready to kick that off, we can start with Pinellas Hope. Dominique, I'm going to kind of pass it to you to kind of navigate that, but she'll be able to talk about your questions and address your comments, Joe.
All right. You can hear me? Great. We're working in the same cubicle right now, so we're muting and unmuting. So yes, we're going to go ahead and just do a roll call down the list of shelters, how we ended the meeting yesterday as well. And just going off of the questions I'm looking at are, status of evacuation. Are you going to evac or stay in place? Are you staffing if you have to evac? Are there any unmet needs? And then I'm adding a question today of, is there any additional capacity? Are you increasing capacity? Have you taken new people in? Will you continue to do that as the time progresses? So Pinellas Hope, we'll go ahead and start with you. We are aware, as we talked this morning, your census, if you'll remind me that again, I don't have that in front of me right now.
We have 208 people in the shelter and about 150 in our permanent housing in the back, but we're both on the flood zone.
Yeah, and so we have been working here in the background to kind of line up a few pieces, but you will have to be evacuating because you are in the tents. And then the homes in the back, are those zone A?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So I will follow up with you one-on-one with that because we do have the ball rolling on a few things.
Great, thank you.
Are you going to be staffing or providing any staff?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Do you have any idea how many?
Now we're working that out today. I just made the announcement that people are on notice, so.
All right, thank you. And do you have any additional unseen unmet needs at this time besides transportation?
Transportation, that's what we're trying to work out. I believe Largo High is a pet-friendly shelter, and we have like probably about 4 or 5 emotional support animals with us right now.
Okay. And I'm going to say no additional capacity, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, Joe?
Oh, no.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go up to the top of my list and work my way down. Is anyone from HEP on the line? I can't see the full participants today. All right, and then
Ashley is here.
Oh.
I don't know if she can come off mute, but she is here.
Ashley, we can't hear you if you're muted and trying to talk. All right, we will come back to you. I know Haish was on the line for Safe Harbor.
Hey, it's Zach. So we still haven't gotten official word from the sheriff on whether we're evacuating or not. Tentatively, I would imagine that we will evacuate since the storm has done its thing and not worked with us. So I would anticipate evacuation down to Lellman. I talked to you this morning, Dominique.
Okay.
If I can get Metro Ministries to provide additional lunches and food, would you like me to send those down there?
Jessica, Tellum Innovation.
You can get back to me. You don't have
Yes,
to.
yeah, I'll follow up with you.
Yeah,
Thank
follow up
you.
because I'll make that request when we get off, or as soon as you let me know.
I do know if you're working with Dream Center that FHAP was actually looking for some of those food resources. So do you want me to connect Jessica with you too, Aragon?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And Lieutenant, so they're not planning on doing meal service tonight at any of the shelters, just due to their opening at 6. So if you had resources that you wanted to connect with Leoman, I think those would probably be accepted because the plan is not to serve dinner tonight.
Okay, yeah, I don't anticipate evacuating until tomorrow anyway,
Okay.
so I wouldn't be worried about that. I do have enough to get through, but whatever extra I have or whatever extra I can get my hands on, I'd be happy to send down there.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure that would be appreciated.
Okay. No
Thank
unmet
you.
needs. As soon as I know my certified staff will be deployed to the shelter. It is still unknown whether we'll be sending non-sworn staff to the shelter.
Okay. And are you taking any additional people in or have you?
Oh yeah, we're still taking walk-ups. We've done 12 check-ins today.
Thank you. St. Vincent de Paul, I know there's a few on from here. Is there anyone that can kind of speak about all programs, or we can go through shelter versus non-congregate?
Yeah, this is Jana.
Hi, Jana.
Hi. So the shelter, as you know, with our roof being repaired, we will shelter in place. So Center of Hope, that's our veterans and families at the shelter. We are getting updated emergency contact information for any of those veterans or families that are choosing to go other places. They can stay here. For the most part, most people will be staying at the shelter, will be fully staffed. We have emergency preparation items as well. Our individual shelter, people who are enrolled will shelter in place. We'll be working with those people that tend to congregate on the outside to get them to nearby shelters and work with local law enforcement with that. Our families and veterans that are in hotels, our staff are all going out to meet with them at the hotels and going over what their emergency plan is, depending on the location of the hotel. If they're not in an evacuation site or if we're not ordered to or recommended to evacuate. But they'll go over those plans with them. We're also trying to gather supplies like water and food in case that's needed. That's pretty much it.
And so are all the hotels in non-evac zones?
Ron, are you on the call? I don't have a direct answer for that. If they are in evacuation zone, we'll work with the clients to identify which shelters they would be closest to.
Okay, so you would be providing your own transportation to, or
Yes.
their own transportation
Yes.
to community shelters. Perfect.
And I'm here.
Okay. Did you hear the question? It was if our hotels are in evacuation zones. And
We only had one that was, and we've relocated all those families, or we're in the process of relocating those families and veterans to a hotel in a non-evacuation zone.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. No unmet needs at this time from St. Vincent de Paul, St. Pete?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Go to Salvation Army, St. Pete. Is Clarissa or Holly on the line?
Yeah, hi Dominique, it's Clarissa.
Hi, Clarissa.
Hi. So yes, we are just awaiting the mandated evacuation because as I said yesterday, we are in flood zone, zone A. So right now we are preparing meals for shelters, but the only unmet need I would say is water. If you get more water, that would be great. Other than that, I think we're good. We're just awaiting that mandated evacuation. And we are checking on our respite clients to see if they need to evacuate earlier to make sure that they're safe as well.
And for when the evacuation order is called, are you all providing transportation? Is that an unmet need, or do you have the?
Yes, we need transportation. We have about 100 people. I am going to get a head count as soon as I get off this meeting and make sure everybody has meds and things like that. We've already put out information Friday, but just going to shore that up. But we would need transportation for everyone.
All right, I will follow up with you on that.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Just want to confirm, is there anyone from Grace House or Hope Villages on the line? Okay, and directions for living.
Good afternoon. So we reported yesterday, we have 8 families in emergency shelter. They occupy 2 hotels right now. Both hotels are in non-evacuation zones. So we made contact with all those families today just to firm up if they have to leave, where they're going to go. And that is basically it for us. The street outreach is still out in the field as of this moment. And we continually assess that, and we'll look to our leadership to make decisions about pulling them off the road.
Okay, great. Thank you for your continued outreach operations on that. In the chat, Christine from St. Vincent de Paul Clearwater was asking for some of the flyers. If you all have any more, if someone could bring those there. If not, I can coordinate with Connie to make sure they're over there.
Those are also available. You can get them on the HLA's website and print them, and I'll add them to the chat again as well so that people can have them to print and stuff too.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. I'll just print them. Nobody has to go out of their way.
I will say they're not the best copies, so they are a screenshot, but yes. Perfect. And anything else with the Salvation Army? You said we're adding 30 additional spaces. Are you still doing that at this time, or have those been filled?
At this time, I'll have to get clarification and email you back, Dominique, with it probably close to mandated evacuation. I'm not sure how that's going to look, but I will definitely let you know.
Okay. Understood. Thank you. Brookwood, is anyone on the call today from Brookwood? Okay. And Alpha House, Jen, I know you're on the call.
Yeah.
Give us your updates.
Yeah, so we have a full house. So we have 16 moms and 16 infants. So we won't be taking anybody else in. We are not evacuating. We've been cleared by an architect many years ago for the structure being sound, and we do have adequate space for them to go where there's no windows. And also we partner with Bowley Center with a lot of things, and they're coming to board our windows this afternoon or early tomorrow. So we are prepared. But as I mentioned before, if anybody needs any baby items before that you know of a client, or if afterwards, please touch base on my cell. I don't know if our phones will go out. I will tell you with Irma, we did not lose power, but that's a category 1. We are on St. Anthony's Hospital power grid. So that does give us a little bit of an advantage, but I really don't know what it's going to play out for being a more severe storm. So if the phone lines don't go through for Alpha for supplies, then you just have to use my cell phone.
Great, thank you for that update, Jen.
Sure.
Anyone on from St. Pete Free Clinic, men's and women's residents? And I'm gonna go ahead and jump down to Gelazo. Are you here with Perk today? All right. Anyone from Bowley Safe Havens?
Hi, Dama.
Hey, Dama. Anything different from your update you gave me yesterday afternoon?
No,
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
you're welcome.
And at this time, since I'm coming up against the wall, Larry, I see you here with West Care. Any updates with West Care?
Hey, Dominique. Turning Point is going to remain open. Their capacity. Mustard Seed, we're going to make a decision on evacuation tomorrow after the 11 o'clock briefing. Probably planning on evacuating all of those clients to our residential facility at Davis Bradley. And then Davis Bradley will be open, and we're opening that up for our staff and families for an evacuation point as well. So we're expecting a full house both there and at Turning Point. We have generators at both places, supplies. So that's our current plan at West Care, is to ride out the storm at both of those facilities.
Okay, and I'm guessing Davis Bradley is a secured building since you're offering it to staff and everything else. It's not within a evac zone or anything like that?
Yeah, it's not.
Okay. And are there any unmet needs?
Right now, we're okay. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you, Larry. All right, so at this time, if you're a provider that I haven't mentioned, if you'll just unmute yourself, if you're providing emergency shelter housing services, so I don't keep getting no responses back.
Dominique, this is Lariana with CoC.
Yes, hi, Lariana. Thanks for coming on today.
Absolutely. So we have about 50 folks in residence. Our evacuation status changed this last year, so we're now in evacuation E, but we do have a generator. We have supplies. Participants know that they have the option to stay, or we will transfer them to sister centers throughout the state if that is their preference. So we're in the process of doing that. We don't have any transportation issues or any concerns there.
Great. Thank you, Lariana.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else on the call today? So I'm going to make sure I don't have anyone from
to see what Ross Silvers put in the chat about the bus service, the fact that it won't be available on Wednesday.
Yes. So Jessica Ross from PSTA is saying that shelters ending services on Tuesday evening with no services on Wednesday.
Yeah, so again, a reminder, we're expecting those winds to start at 3 a.m. on Wednesday. So evacuations need to be done tomorrow because the winds are going to start in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and so when the winds get too high, it's not safe for the buses to be on the road because of the higher sheet of wind. So yes, they'll be pulling those. So tomorrow is the day. This evening and tomorrow. Any other shelter providers?
Hey, Dominique and Zach, I got two questions. One for Ross since he's on. Ross, when the general shelters start to close and then people are going back to where they go, are the buses again running for free those following days to get people back to where they came from?
I believe shelter transportation is typically provided for free. And then once the state of emergency, whatever is over, then you go back to the full fares. I believe that's how that works.
Okay. I'm just wondering, we got transportation. I'm just wondering for other people that are in that boat.
Yeah.
The other question I got is Dominique and Jessica or whoever, do you guys need like cleaning wipes down there too for people?
Yes, you can always provide those.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. This is Monica again. If anybody has any information that you would like us to disseminate out into the community or to additional providers or community organizations that are not necessarily on this call, but part of our group, please feel free to email them to me and we will make sure to get that information out.
Any additional questions? Just so I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to talk. I know it's a lot of information coming at once. I would say, I'm going to be in a shelter tomorrow, so make sure that you have everything set up for yourselves and for your clients and for your residents as we continue to move through this. I want to thank everyone for taking the time. I'll go ahead and put my cell phone again in the chat, and feel free to reach out to me directly because I will not necessarily have my computer on me over the next following couple days, but my phone's in the chat. I want to thank everyone for coming today and have a good rest of your Monday.
Dominique,
like
before we run off, I just have one quick question. Other than the county information line, I did get asked from people who are doing some outreach right now to unhoused people. They're wondering if there is a good phone number specifically for unhoused people to call. I don't believe that there is. I think it's just the county information line, but since we're all here, I wanted to ask.
It is the same line and everybody can access. Yes. The shelters are available for everybody. Anyone can access any shelter. They're not being directed anywhere.
Thank you.
Yes.
And kind of kick off. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Have a great day. We will be sending out another meeting invite soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.